This morning, as the sun rises, let me ask you a question. What is the very first thought in your heart today? Is it fear, is it worry, or is it faith in the living God who gave you another day? Every morning is a gift, a fresh page that God places in our hands. You are not here by accident. You are alive today because God still has a purpose for you. Too often we rush into the day with our minds burdened by yesterday's failures or tomorrow's uncertainties. But God calls us to pause, to lift our eyes toward heaven, and to begin the day in His presence. When you start your morning with prayer, you are not just saying words. You are inviting the Creator of the universe to walk with you. Prayer is the breath of the soul. It is the key that unlocks strength, courage, and peace. And if you will give God the first minutes of your day, He will guide the hours that follow. You may be facing struggles that no one else sees. You may be carrying battles inside your heart that you cannot even explain. But God knows. He understands. And He is nearer than the very air you breathe. When you kneel before Him in the morning, you rise with a strength the world cannot take away. So I urge you, before the rush of life begins, whisper a prayer of surrender. Lord, this is your day. Lead me. Use me. Protect me. Fill me. And you will see how God can transform your ordinary morning into an extraordinary journey. Today, make the choice to walk in faith, not fear. To live with hope, not despair. To believe in God's promises more than in the doubts of your own heart. For when you start your day with God, no matter what comes, you will not walk alone. Now, take this new morning, lift your heart to heaven, and step into the day with courage, for the Lord your God goes with you. Every morning that you wake up and open your eyes, you are being handed a gift directly from God. Life itself is not something we control. It is not something we earn. And it is not something we can guarantee by our own power. The fact that you are alive today, breathing and seeing the light of another sunrise, is proof that God's hand has been upon you through the night and has chosen to give you another opportunity. This morning is not just an ordinary moment in time. It is a divine gift wrapped in mercy, tied together with grace, and placed gently into your hands by the one who loves you more than you can comprehend. When you see each new morning in this way, your perspective begins to change. Many people roll out of bed and immediately complain about their problems, about their work, about their responsibilities. They begin the day with grumbling and anxiety, and in doing so, they fail to recognize the sacred beauty of simply being alive. But when your heart understands that every morning is a gift, you cannot help but give thanks. You begin to realize that this new day is a chance to start again, to walk in faith, to correct what went wrong yesterday, and to take another step toward the purpose God has placed in your life. Think for a moment about how fragile life truly is. Millions of people did not wake up this morning. Their time on earth ended yesterday, but you are still here. You are still given breath. That alone should stir something deep within your heart. It should remind you that God is not finished with you yet. Whatever mistakes you have made in the past, however far you feel you have wandered, this morning means there is still a way back. God is giving you another chance to live for Him, to walk in His will, and to become the person He has created you to be. Every morning is also a reminder of God's faithfulness. The sun rises not because of anything we do, but because God has set the world in motion. The darkness of the night always gives way to the light of day. This is God's way of telling you that no matter how dark your life may feel, His light will always shine again. The same God who brings morning to the earth can bring hope to your heart. That is why each daybreak is more than just a natural event. It is a spiritual message that God is with you, that His mercies are new every morning, and that you can trust Him to carry you through whatever lies ahead. This gift of morning also carries responsibility. A gift is not meant to be ignored or wasted. When you realize that God has given you another day, it calls you to live with intention. You cannot treat today as though it doesn't matter, because it does. The way you use this day, the words you speak, the choices you make, the love you show, and the faith you live out has eternal significance. God has trusted you with another sunrise, and He wants you to walk in His purpose throughout it. He has work for you to do, people for you to encourage, prayers for you to pray, and blessings for you to receive. And so, when you open your eyes each morning, begin with gratitude. Before you pick up your phone, before you rush into your schedule, pause and whisper, "Thank you, Lord, for this new day." That simple prayer of thanksgiving aligns your heart with God's will. It shifts your focus from problems to promises, from worry to worship, from fear to faith. Gratitude is the language that honors the giver. And when you honor God with a thankful heart, you invite His presence into every moment of your day. Remember, the gift of morning is not promised forever. None of us knows how many more days we will receive. That is why we must treat each sunrise as precious. Do not let this day slip away without recognizing its value. Do not waste it on bitterness, anger, or regret. Instead, choose to use this day to draw closer to God, to love more deeply, to forgive more freely, and to live with a spirit of joy that reflects His goodness. So as the light of morning shines on your face, let it be a reminder that you are alive for a reason. God has entrusted you with this day because He still has a plan for you. Embrace it, cherish it, live it fully for His glory, because truly every morning is a gift from God. The way you begin your morning has the power to shape your entire day. If you start the morning with stress, distraction, and hurry, then most likely your day will carry the same weight of confusion and emptiness. But when you choose to start your day in the presence of God, everything changes. Prayer in the morning is not just a religious habit or a ritual. It is an intimate meeting with the one who knows you, loves you, and holds your day in His hands. Starting the day with God sets the tone, aligns your heart, and gives you the strength and wisdom you need for the hours ahead. Imagine for a moment how people prepare for important events. Athletes stretch and train before stepping onto the field. Singers warm up their voices before a concert. Business leaders review their plans before a meeting. They all know that preparation matters. And in the same way, prayer is the spiritual preparation for your day. When you bow your head and invite God into your morning, you are preparing your heart to face whatever comes. You are declaring, "Lord, I cannot do this on my own. I need you to guide me, protect me, and walk with me." That simple act of surrender changes everything. Too many people rush out of their homes without giving a thought to God. They start the day on their own strength, and before long they are drained, frustrated, and defeated. Life becomes heavier than it needs to be because they are carrying burdens they were never meant to carry alone. But when you take even a few minutes at the start of your day to be still before God, you are placing those burdens into His hands. You are saying, "Father, I give you this day. I give you my worries, my tasks, my challenges, and my opportunities. Let your will be done." Suddenly, the weight is lifted, and the peace of God begins to flow through your spirit. When you begin in God's presence, you also gain clarity. The world is full of noise and distractions. Your phone buzzes with notifications. The news fills your mind with fear, and your responsibilities demand your attention. But prayer allows you to quiet the noise and listen to God's voice. He may speak to you through Scripture, through a gentle whisper in your heart, or through a sense of peace about a decision you must make. By starting your morning with Him, you are tuning your ear to the voice that truly matters. And when God speaks, even in silence, you know you can walk through the day with confidence. Another blessing of beginning your day in God's presence is protection. Each day, unseen battles are fought in the spiritual realm. There are temptations waiting, negative influences lurking, and challenges that could easily overwhelm you. But when you cover your day in prayer before it even begins, you are placing a shield of God's protection around you. You may still face difficulties, but you will not face them alone. The hand of God will steady you. His Spirit will guide you. And His promises will remind you that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Starting the day with God also changes the way you interact with others. When you begin with prayer, you are filled with love, patience, and kindness that are not naturally your own. Instead of reacting in anger or frustration, you are more likely to respond with grace. Instead of being consumed by selfishness, you are more willing to serve. Prayer not only transforms your inner world, it overflows into the lives of those around you. People may not know why you are calm when storms come, but you will know. It is because you started your day with the Prince of Peace. Every morning is like a seed. What you plant at the beginning will grow throughout the day. If you plant fear, negativity, and worry, that is what you will harvest. But if you plant faith, gratitude, and prayer, you will reap peace, strength, and joy. That is why the first moments of your day are so important. They set the spiritual atmosphere of your entire day. When you dedicate your mornings to God, you are not just going through a religious routine. You are building a foundation strong enough to withstand whatever storms may come. So tomorrow when you wake up, resist the temptation to rush into your schedule or grab your phone. Instead, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and turn your thoughts to heaven. Even a simple prayer like, "Lord, I welcome you into my day. Guide me and help me honor you," can make all the difference. For when you start your day in the presence of God, you can walk with the assurance that the author of your life is writing every moment of your day. And with Him by your side, there is nothing to fear, nothing to doubt, and nothing to stop you from living with hope, strength, and purpose. Prayer is more than a set of words we speak into the air. It is the breath of the soul, the lifeline that connects us directly to God. When we pray, we are not simply following a tradition or repeating a habit. We are stepping into the presence of the Almighty, pouring out our hearts, and receiving His strength and His peace in return. Prayer unlocks resources that the world cannot provide, strength that no amount of human effort can manufacture, and peace that no storm can destroy. Life is filled with challenges, both visible and invisible. There are battles in our minds, burdens on our shoulders, and fears that creep into our hearts. Some people try to carry these struggles alone, believing that sheer willpower will be enough to overcome them. But the truth is, human strength has limits. You can only fight for so long before exhaustion sets in. You can only hold back fear for so long before it overwhelms you. This is why prayer is not optional. It is essential. Prayer lifts the burden off our weak shoulders and places it into the mighty hands of God. It is in prayer that we exchange our weakness for His strength. Think of how a weary traveler feels when they finally find a place to rest. Their muscles ache, their energy is gone, and then suddenly they are given a place of refuge where they can recover. That is what prayer does for the soul. It is a place where you stop striving and start trusting. You breathe deeply, not because the problems have disappeared, but because you know you are not facing them alone. The Spirit of God strengthens you on the inside, giving you courage to face what you could never face by yourself. This strength that comes through prayer is not just physical, it is spiritual and emotional. When you kneel in prayer, you may rise up still carrying the same responsibilities, but your heart is renewed. You gain endurance when life feels overwhelming. You gain resilience when circumstances try to crush you. Prayer does not always change the situation immediately, but it changes you so that you can face the situation differently. And often, when you change in prayer, you see how God is already working in ways you could not see before. Along with strength, prayer unlocks peace. True peace is not found in the absence of problems, but in the presence of God. You can have a calm heart, even in the middle of chaos, if you know that the Lord is with you. Prayer brings that assurance. It is in prayer that anxiety begins to lose its grip. It is in prayer that confusion gives way to clarity. It is in prayer that restless thoughts are replaced with the stillness of God's promises. The Bible says that the peace of God surpasses all understanding, which means it does not always make sense to the world. Others may wonder why you are calm when life seems to be falling apart, but you know it is because you have been in prayer. Peace through prayer is like an anchor in a storm. Waves may crash, winds may howl, but the anchor holds firm. When you pray, you are sinking your soul into the rock, solid foundation of God's love and power. That anchor keeps you steady when life tries to toss you around. Without prayer, you drift, pulled in every direction by worry and fear. With prayer, you remain grounded, confident that no matter what happens, God is in control. Some people misunderstand prayer, thinking it is only about asking God for things. But prayer is much deeper than requests. It is communion. It is sitting in silence before God and letting His presence fill you. It is confessing your fears and hearing Him whisper back, "Be still, I am with you." It is offering your praise and feeling joy rise in your heart. It is surrendering your plans and finding freedom in His will. This is why prayer brings such strength and peace, because it draws you closer to the heart of the one who holds all things together. If you neglect prayer, you are like a soldier going into battle without armor or a traveler setting out on a long journey without food. But when you pray, you are equipped. You are fed. You are armed with strength and wrapped in peace that nothing in this world can strip away. Each prayer, no matter how simple, opens the door for God to pour His power into your weakness and His calm into your chaos. So never underestimate the power of prayer. Do not think of it as a small duty or an empty ritual. See it as your lifeline, your daily source of strength, and your fountain of peace. Take your burdens to God in the morning, throughout the day, and before you rest at night. He hears, He cares, and He responds in ways that will lift you higher than your struggles and calm you deeper than your fears. Prayer truly unlocks strength and peace, and with those two gifts, you can face anything life places in your path. There are struggles in life that no one else can see. Behind the smiles you show to others, behind the conversations you have each day, There may be battles raging deep within your heart. Some struggles are so personal, so heavy, that you cannot put them into words. Even those closest to you may not fully understand what you are carrying. But there is one who sees it all. God knows your hidden struggles. He knows the silent tears you cry, the fears that haunt your mind, the doubts that whisper in the dark. Nothing is hidden from Him. And that is not a reason to fear. It is a reason to find comfort. God's knowledge of you is complete. He does not just see the actions you take or the words you speak. He sees the motives of your heart, the longings of your soul, and the burdens you try so hard to hide. There are times when you may feel like no one notices your pain, that you are invisible in your suffering. But God notices. He sees when you wake up in the night with anxiety. He sees when you carry disappointment quietly, so that others do not worry. He sees the weight you place upon yourself to appear strong when inside you feel weak. And He does not turn away. He draws near. This truth should bring great hope, because if God knows your struggles, then He also knows the solution. If He sees your pain, He also carries the healing. When you feel misunderstood by the world, you can rest in the knowledge that you are fully understood by your Creator. The people around you may not grasp the depth of your struggles, but God not only grasps them, He cares about them more deeply than you can imagine. His word says He is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. That means your hidden battles are never fought alone. Sometimes the hardest struggles are the ones you cannot explain to anyone else. You may feel ashamed of them, as if admitting them would make you appear weak. You may fear judgment if you were to open up, but God is not shocked by your struggles. He is not surprised by your weakness. He is the one who formed you, who knows every thought before you think it, every word before you speak it. You cannot shock a God who already knows everything. Instead of judgment, He offers compassion. Instead of condemnation, He offers mercy. Instead of rejection, He offers acceptance. There is great freedom in bringing your hidden struggles to God. In prayer, you can pour out everything you have kept locked inside. You can be honest with Him in ways you might never be with another human being. You can confess your fears, your temptations, your failures, your pain. And when you do, you will find that God does not turn away. He meets you with forgiveness, with strength, with healing. He takes what is too heavy for you to carry and lifts it from your shoulders. When you realize that God knows your hidden struggles, it also reminds you that you do not have to pretend with Him. Many of us put on masks in front of others. We smile when we are hurting. We say we are fine when we are not. We keep pushing forward, even when our hearts are weary. But before God, masks are unnecessary. He already sees beyond them. In His presence, you can finally be real. You can drop the act, let the tears fall, and allow Him to comfort you as no one else can. And because He knows your struggles, He also knows how to turn them into something good. The very battles you think are breaking you may be the ones that shape you into who He designed you to be. The pain you endure may be preparing you for greater strength, greater compassion, greater faith. God wastes nothing. Even your hidden struggles have a purpose in His plan. He may be using them to draw you closer to Him, to teach you to rely on His power instead of your own, to shape your heart so you can help others who will face similar struggles in the future. So do not believe the lie that you are alone in what you are facing. Do not think that your struggles are too small for God to care about or too big for Him to handle. He sees, He knows, and He is with you. The same God who counts every hair on your head, who notices every sparrow that falls, is paying attention to the details of your life. Nothing about you escapes his love. The next time you feel weighed down by battles no one else sees, remember this truth: God already knows. And because he knows, you can come to him with confidence, knowing he will not reject you but will embrace you. You can cry out in honesty, and he will hear. You can lean on him, and he will hold you up. Your hidden struggles are not hidden from him, and that is the greatest comfort you can ever have. Each new day arrives like an unopened gift, and how you choose to handle it will determine the outcome of your hours. Too often, people rush into the day, believing they are in complete control, making their own plans, pushing forward with their own strength. Yet by the middle of the day, they find themselves exhausted, overwhelmed, and frustrated. That is because the day was never meant to be carried in human strength alone. There is a better way. When you surrender the day to God, you invite him to take charge of your steps, your words, your decisions, and your circumstances. You acknowledge that he is greater than your plans and wiser than your understanding. Surrendering the day is not weakness. It is strength. It is the recognition that you are limited, but God is limitless. You do not know what challenges are waiting for you today, but he does. You do not see the future, but he sees it all. When you rise in the morning and say, Lord, this is your day, not mine. Lead me, use me, protect me, and fill me. You are placing your life in the hands of the one who already knows the path ahead. And when your life is in his hands, you can walk with peace, even if the day is uncertain. To surrender means to release control. It means loosening your grip on the steering wheel of life and letting God direct the journey. Many people struggle with this because we naturally want to be in control. We want everything to go our way, according to our timeline. But surrendering does not mean you give up responsibility or stop working hard. It means you stop fighting against God's plan. It means you trust his timing, his wisdom, and his direction more than your own. And when you do this at the start of the day, you step into your hours with a lighter heart and a stronger faith. Think about what happens when you fail to surrender. You wake up with a list of tasks, you rush into them, and before long, frustration sets in when things do not go the way you expected. A traffic delay ruins your schedule. A conversation turns into conflict. A disappointment steals your joy. Without surrender, these things feel unbearable because you are relying on your own control. But when the day has already been surrendered to God, you can face interruptions with patience, knowing that he can work even in delays. You can handle conflict with grace, knowing he can use it to teach you forgiveness. You can face disappointment with faith, knowing he is still writing a greater story. Surrendering the day also brings freedom. You no longer carry the pressure of making everything perfect. You are no longer enslaved to the outcome of events. Instead, you rest in the knowledge that God is in charge. This does not mean you stop caring about your responsibilities. It means you carry them differently. You carry them with faith instead of fear, with hope instead of worry. You begin to see the day as a partnership between you and God. He provides the guidance, the strength, and the opportunities, while you simply walk in obedience and trust. One of the most powerful parts of surrender is that it opens the door for God to use you in ways you could not have planned yourself. Perhaps he places someone in your path who needs encouragement. Maybe he interrupts your schedule so that you can help someone in need. When you surrender the day, you are saying, Lord, let your will be done through me. And in those moments, you discover the joy of living beyond your own agenda. You see how God can take an ordinary day and fill it with extraordinary purpose. It is also in surrender that you find protection. When you ask God to guide your steps, He not only directs you but shields you from harm. You may never even realize. How many times have you been delayed, frustrated by the interruption, only to discover later that the delay may have spared you from danger? When you surrender the day to Him, you place yourself under His watchful eye, and He works behind the scenes in ways you cannot see. To surrender the day requires humility. It is admitting that you need God every moment, not just in crisis. It is beginning your morning by saying, Lord, without you, I cannot do this. And that humility is what opens the door for His strength to flow into your weakness. The proud heart resists surrender, but the humble heart finds peace in it. So when you rise each morning, do not carry the day as if it belongs to you. Hand it over to God. Let Him write the story. Let Him order the steps. Let Him shape the conversations and the outcomes. Live with open hands, not clenched fists. And as you surrender each day, you will begin to see how God transforms ordinary hours into divine appointments, how He turns obstacles into opportunities, and how He fills your day with blessings you never expected. Surrender the day, and you will discover that you are not walking through it alone. You are walking with the one who holds time, who directs history, and who loves you beyond measure. That is the safest, strongest, and most joyful way to live. Faith and fear cannot rule your heart at the same time. One will always push the other out. Every morning, every decision, every challenge in life places you at a crossroads. Will you walk in faith, trusting that God is with you? Or will you walk in fear, believing the lies of doubt and worry? The truth is, fear is powerful, but faith is greater. Fear paralyzes, but faith moves forward. Fear whispers that you are alone, but faith declares that God will never leave you nor forsake you. When you choose to walk in faith instead of fear, you open the door for God's strength, peace, and victory to guide your steps. Fear often comes naturally to us. It rises when the future is uncertain, when the road ahead is unclear, when circumstances look bigger than we can handle. Fear magnifies problems until they seem impossible. It tells you that you are not strong enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough. Left unchecked, fear can control every part of your life. Your relationships, your choices, your dreams. But faith looks at those same circumstances and sees them differently. Faith says, yes, the problem is big, but my God is bigger. Yes, the future is unknown, but my God knows it all. Yes, I feel weak, but His strength is made perfect in my weakness. Walking in faith does not mean you ignore reality. It does not mean you pretend challenges don't exist. It means you see reality through the lens of God's promises. You acknowledge the storm, but you trust the one who can calm it. You recognize the mountain, but you believe in the one who can move it. Faith gives you courage to step forward when fear tells you to stop. It enables you to live with confidence, not in yourself, but in the God who is able to do immeasurably more than you could ask or imagine. Choosing faith over fear is not always easy. The world constantly feeds fear. Through the news, through negative voices, through uncertain circumstances. But this is why your focus matters. What you feed will grow. If you feed fear by focusing on problems and doubts, it will grow stronger. But if you feed faith by focusing on God's word, His promises, and His presence, then faith will rise in your heart. Faith comes from hearing and believing God's truth. Each time you pray, each time you remember his faithfulness in the past, each time you meditate on his promises, you are strengthening the roots of faith within you. Fear is like a chain that keeps you from moving forward. But faith breaks the chains and sets you free. How many dreams have been lost because of fear? How many opportunities have been missed because someone believed the lie that they were not good enough? Fear holds you back, but faith propels you into the destiny God has prepared for you. When you walk in faith, you stop measuring your life by your limitations and start measuring it by God's unlimited power. You begin to step into places you never thought possible, not because you are strong, but because he is. Walking in faith also brings peace. Fear fills your mind with what ifs, but faith fills your heart with even if. Fear says, what if I fail? What if I get hurt? What if I cannot handle it? Faith says, even if I stumble, God will lift me. Even if I face loss, God will restore me. Even if the world turns against me, God will never abandon me. That kind of faith anchors your soul in peace. It does not remove the storm, but it keeps you steady in the middle of it. When you live by faith, others notice your calmness in difficulty, your courage in uncertainty, your joy in hardship. It becomes a testimony. People see the difference and wonder where your strength comes from. And that becomes your opportunity to point them to God. Walking in faith is not only about your own journey, it is about shining a light for others who are trapped in fear. Your faith can inspire someone else to believe, to hope, and to trust God for themselves. Every day you have a choice. Will you listen to the voice of fear, or will you walk by faith? Fear leads to discouragement, defeat, and despair. Faith leads to courage, victory, and joy. When you rise in the morning, declare, I will not let fear rule me today. I will walk by faith, trusting in the God who is with me. That decision may not remove all the challenges you face, but it will change how you face them. So take the step. Walk in faith, not fear. Trust that God goes before you, walks beside you, and stands behind you. Believe that his power is greater than your weakness. His promise is stronger than your doubts, and his love deeper than your fears. When faith fills your heart, fear has no room to stay. And when you live this way, you will not only survive life's challenges, you will overcome them with strength, peace, and victory that only God can give.